Welcome back, Algebra 2. In this video, we'll be talking about how to go from vertex form to standard form. So let's go ahead and get started. So on the screen here, I've got two forms of a quadratic shown, and on the left, we've got our vertex form. And we know that it's called vertex form because the vertex is actually in the equation. That's an important piece of information that we get from here in this form. And so we can use our vertex form to go to standard form. And so that's what we're going to do with the equation that we got from the previous video. So let's go ahead and get started. So this was the equation that we got from example number 1. And what we're going to do to this equation is expand it. So when we're expanding and going from vertex form to standard form, we want to follow order of operations. So if you remember your order of operations, it's parentheses, exponents, and then we do any multiplication or division that shows up in the problem, followed by addition and subtraction. So the first thing I'm going to do is start expanding this, and I'm going to look at my parentheses. So I've got parentheses here. I can't really simplify x minus 1. Those aren't like terms, so that's going to stay as is. So I've taken care of my parentheses. The next thing I want to do is take care of any exponents that I see in the problem. And I do have an exponent. I have this exponent of 2 right here. So that means I'm going to take care of this x minus 1 squared, because that squared is acting on the quantity of x minus 1. And so to expand that, that looks like this. So I'm going to write that as y equals negative 16 x minus 1 times x minus 1 plus 20. Because when we're squaring something, like if we have something that says 4 squared, we know that's 16, but we get that 16 because this squared is telling us, hey, we're going to take that 4 and multiply it by itself 2 times. So this squared is saying, hey, we're going to take this x minus 1 and multiply it by itself 2 times. So that's why we expand it the way we did below. Okay, from there we can start distributing. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute this stuff first. So if you're like me and you like to set up a box to help keep your work organized, you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to write x minus 1 and then x minus 1, and we're going to multiply those things. So x times x is x squared. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. I've got negative 1x here, and a negative 1 times a negative 1 is a positive 1. So now that I've multiplied everything through, I can go ahead and add everything and combine any like terms. So I have x squared. These two things are like terms. So I'm going to write x squared minus 2x, and then I'm going to write plus 1 at the end here. Okay, so I've multiplied that, but keep in mind, I've only multiplied these two things. So I'm going to substitute that with x squared minus 2x plus 1. So my equation right now looks like y equals negative 16 x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus 20 all the way at the very end. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is distribute this negative 16 to all terms inside of the parentheses there. So when I do that, negative 16 times x squared is negative 16x squared. And then negative 16 times negative 2 is going to be positive 32x. And then negative 16 times positive 1 is negative 16. And we're going to bring down that plus 20 at the end here. From here, I can combine any like terms that I see. And the only like terms that I see that I can combine is this negative 16 and that positive 20. So when I do that, my equation is y equals negative 16x squared plus 32x. Negative 16 plus 20 is going to be positive 4. And that's it. That's as much as I can simplify that equation. And this equation is now written in standard form. Now, the thing that we get from vertex form that we learned above is the vertex. The thing that we get from standard form, or the gift that it gives us, is this last number here. That's C. So if we come down here, this positive 4, that's actually going to be your y-intercept, if you guys remember. Okay, so if we know that this 4 is our y-intercept, and if we look at the graph that we were originally given, it matches the y-intercept on the graph. Okay, so that's just one thing to note and to write down. So in vertex form, you get your vertex, and in standard form, you guys are gifted the y-intercept. Thanks for watching.